Welcome back to the Penalty Box Live.
What's
How are
going
you?
on? I'm great. I'm very excited about today. I'm a big horn section fan. My life, during my life, Earth, Wind and Fire, Chicago, Tower of Power, and I'm very excited to have our guest on today.
We need more horns in our life.
We do.
I'm a John Legend fan, and John Legend, if you see him live, horns and kind of a big band behind him, and we don't get a lot of that anymore, which is kind of cool. So we'll get to Nick in a few minutes, but I always feel like when I'm like, hey, how are you? Like I don't talk to you like almost every day.
Right, and like we didn't talk to each other like 20 seconds ago.
Right, like hey man, how are you? Like just about the same as you were a little while ago. Hey, there's Caroline fucking Matthias. Like I have to just drop the F-bomb because she just popped on. So hi.
Well, we can
Caroline.
now Nick knows that he can absolutely swear on our show if he wants to.
Yes. Why don't you give a shout out to our sponsor, Woodstock Inn and Brewery?
Yeah, Woodstock Inn Brewery up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Great place to visit if you just want to get away for a weekend, and their beers are legendary.
Legend, wait for it, dairy. All right, well, you know how this goes. We kick this off with some shots on goal. So what do you got, my friend?
All right, well, we talked. Here's a little bit behind the scenes. Eric and I talked like an hour ago, and I'm like, I don't have a shot on goal. And he said, well, you got to come up with one. I said, I got 45 minutes. So I did, right? So I told him I'm not going to talk about the Red Sox, but I am in a small way. So our Red Sox, I believe that, when our guest comes on, Nick, he'll agree because he is a New England man himself. The Red Sox are 12-6 in first place, two games over Tampa Bay and 5 over that team in New York. But
yes.
Our owner's been a little busy. Have you seen that in the news? Our owner was a part of a group over in England that was trying to break away from the Major League Soccer over there and create a super league. And, that was billions of dollars, and it got quite a backlash where the even the government was going to step in and stop it. So he went on last night and recorded something of an apology and saying that thanked everyone for their valuable contributions as they tried to do what they did, and that we're going to stick with the existing structures. So that said, that's what our owner's been up to, and yes, Mookie Betts is still a Dodger.
Well, that does make me think 2 weeks from now, next week, we've got our NFL draft show. The week after that, we've got J.W. Kraft, who owns the FC Tulsa, which is the Tulsa soccer team, which I'm kind of looking forward to that. And by the way, there's only room for one super league, and that's the SEC in football, right? I mean,
yeah, I think
super league. So right. I've got 3 shots on goal. The first one, quick and easy. Ozark and Dead to Me on Netflix are both coming back pretty soon, I hear, and I love both those shows. So if you're a Netflixer, Ozark final season is going to be incredible, and Dead to Me is a really good show that everyone should watch. Secondly, if you're watching this, after we're done, you've got to Google up Husband Saves Wife from Bobcat. Have you?
No, I have not.
So they're walking out, and they've got like one of the cameras up here, watching the house or whatever. And so they're recording everything. You can hear the sound, and the man's walking out to his car while Mama is walking in between the like sport utility vehicle and the mom van. And then you hear like, "Oh my god!" And you see and he's like, "Holy crap! It's a bobcat!" Right? And he literally throws it. He just throws it across the yard, and it runs back underneath, and she's freaking out, and he's yelling, "I'm going to shoot them, something, bleeping, bleep, something." And I'm like, and you literally have to watch it because it's hilarious.
Well, is there a new sport that has just been invented?
Bobcat hurling.
Bobcat hurling and throwing.
Yeah, bobcat hurling. My last shot on goal in the business world, one of the chains that did not do well during COVID, which kind of surprised me, was Subway. I kind of thought, of course, they're more kind of built towards kind of walking in and getting what you need. They don't have drive-thrus, but I thought they would have done a little better probably with some DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff like that, but they didn't. And now you've got a group of 200 franchisees that represent, I think, about 2% of the stores that are coming out and maybe going to sue because what's happened is you have a new CEO, and he's come in and he's just cutting everything, but then wanting them to go back to $5 footlongs, which is no profit. And allegedly on the down low, Subway's up for sale. And, it's just interesting. You look at that concept. It's easy to get into, low cost of entry, but yet it's also low margin, but you need to work it. And the cost of royalties and marketing and advertising is pretty high. And so it's going to be kind of crazy to see what happens with that chain over the next probably 6 to 9 months. I would be surprised if it doesn't get sold, but Subway, really, since the Jared thing, when he lost all that weight and then he goes to prison for children and all that,
yeah.
But which is not that happens, I guess. Not that happens. That's not Subway's fault. They don't know that, I guess. But they really have floundered since then and trying to find their way. And a lot of locations and a lot of independent operators and franchisees, and they're hurting, and they seem to be getting no help. And so I don't know necessarily where I'm going with that, but I would just, if I was you, I'd watch Subway to see over the next. I bet they get sold in the next 6 months.
I know someone who's has 5 of them, and during the 80s and 90s, it was like a license to print money. So I don't really feel that terrible.
Well, they're struggling with like everybody else to find help.
Yeah.
So hey, by the way, thank you, Mark Gassert, for the share. We always appreciate that. So I guess I'll let you introduce our guest and how you found him. It's kind of funny.
I gotta tell you, here's his bio. So I'm gonna read just some highlights. So how I found him is that I had seen Michael Buble about three times or so here at the local arena, and there was a time that during the show that he would have Nick stand up. And it happened like 3 times. I saw him saying, "Local boy does good," and I'm like thinking one day, who can we have on our show? So I reached out to him, and he was gracious to come on. So I'm just going to read a couple of things. Trombonist and trumpet player Nick Vayenas is a mainstay in music over the last 20 years. Based in New York. He has one of the most versatile musicians when it becomes the educator as well as the clinician. Originally from Boston and grew up in Atkinson, New Hampshire, which is not too far from us. Since 2003, he's played with Grammy Award-winning Michael Buble, Josh Groban, David Foster, Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, Herbie Hancock, on and on and on. This guy has traveled the world, and his talent just mirrors, all of the things that he's put out. I'd like to welcome Nick to our show.
I was like, are you done talking or what? I mean, that's a lot. Show's over. Just talk about all of his stuff he's done.
Look how long this is. It's unbelievable.
Nick, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. I want to come at you with like this weird kind of, maybe seems like a weird question to me, but probably isn't to you.
Okay.
On your Mount Rushmore of trombonists.
Mount Rushmore. Okay. Well, I'm a jazz guy. That was kind of my passion. Early on, I do all kinds of work, but if I had to pick some, I would go with jazz guys. And one I really love is J.J. Johnson. Great player from the 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yep.
I love another guy, Frank Rosalino, who's another player from that era. I first got into the trombone from Tommy Dorsey because my dad used to play all kinds of music on the on the record player or in the car, so I would put him in there too. But
I'm an Irby Green guy.
Oh yes, he's great too. He's kind of like the extension of Tommy Dorsey.
Well, here's what I like. When you look up Irby Green, they say he's a trombonist. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, I get being like a player coach.
Mm-hmm.
What is a trombonist? What is that?
I think people really appreciate what that guy can do because he's kind of a low key guy, maybe a little under the radar, but he's kind of a freak as far as his ability on the horn. So yeah, he can do a lot of things that are pretty impressive.
So you have put out 7, if I've got it correct, studio albums.
Yep. That's right.
Your most recent one, which was in 2020, kind of tags on to what we were just talking about, is called Lineage, and it is it's standards, and all the other ones have been original music that you've out of all of the standards, And I again during my research, I had no idea that Charlie Chaplin wrote "Smile." I mean, God,
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
no idea. You know,
wrote. Yeah, like
yeah,
he probably
yeah.
sang a part
Right.
No, but he did write. Yeah.
So, so you know, out of all the standards, you know, how did you choose the ones on that album?
Just songs that I meant something to me that I loved. Smile, you know, it's obviously a very, very popular song, but I just always loved that song. Getting Sentimental Over You, that's the Tommy Dorsey classic that I wanted to just try to do it my way. And I picked some other tunes by great composers that I love, like Duke Ellington. I put I Got a Bad Neck That Ain't Good and Caravan for Duke because he's the greatest American composer in my book. Thelonious Monk, another jazz legend. I play one of his tunes. So I just had different reasons for picking each song, but they kind of just meant something to me at different points in time. But, and there's a million songs, and I'd like to do kind of a series of albums like that where I just do standards. That was the first one, and you know, to do a standard is kind of a challenge because you want to like do it justice because there's so many versions of these songs that are classics, and I don't want to, you know, I want to do my best and try to give some kind of thing that is my thing to those. I didn't feel like I could do that maybe when I was 25 or something, but and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I thought it came out okay. So
Yeah,
when I can go back into a studio again and not have a mask on, maybe I'll try.
Makes it hard to play with a mask on, right?
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, Jeff.
I noticed that you know, a lot of the videos for that album were shot in your basement.
Yeah, that was. I used to live in Queens, and that I had a little home studio set up down there. So I made a lot of videos that way. It just seemed like things were going towards this whole YouTube phenomenon, you know, and you got to have a video to go with the audio. So I kind of got into that and doing it in New York. In Queens, there's so many musicians that I can just call and they'll just pop over. And so it was a nice little setup, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
You, it appears you met Cookie Monster in 2013. How did that change your life?
That was fun. That was probably the biggest moment of my entire life. As you can see in the photo, I'm pretty happy about that.
You look pretty happy in that photo. I was kind of surprised. So,
yeah, I've been lucky to do a lot of television specials with Michael. And that was for one of them. That was a Christmas special, I think, NBC.
Well, I noticed like on that Christmas special you did. You guys, I think, did Christmas, and then you maybe did like the morning show, and did like the evening show, and maybe kind of along those lines, but different. But when you're doing concerts, like giant stadium concerts, what's that like from the time the show ends to when you get to the next place? And maybe that's a long answer. Maybe there's that's fine. But is that like, hey, pack it up, we're out and we're busting out, or what does that look like?
Yeah, unless it's a multiples in the city, we're out of there. It's crazy because there's a whole army of people ready to take down the stage, and like there's not a minute to waste. So you have the crew that's traveling, and then there's a local bunch of guys, and we got to get out of there, you know, and we have to obviously get to the hotel. So we just pack up. Sometimes we just run off the stage to the bus. It's called the runner. And then you change on the bus and it's gone. But like they break that thing down so fast, and then they put it in the trucks and it goes to the next city and they put it up the next day. It's incredible.
Well, you see some of those stadiums where like literally they'll have a hockey game tonight, Michael Buble.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, you have to move that fast.
Yeah. And so are you literally like going from the stage to the bus?
Yeah.
To the airport, or bus to the
usually it's bus to the next city. So we'll do, you know, they try to route the tour so that the cities are relatively close. So maybe you got a 4 or 5 hour drive to the next hotel, or you sleep on the bus and you wake up in the morning at the hotel or something like that.
Is that just like pandemonium? Like, or
it's very organized,
orchestrated pandemonium.
It's very organized. Yeah. So cool. You just go and you get in the routine. If you can sleep on a bus, which I've learned how to do, then you're okay.
I bet. So, Wes, we have some. Hold on, I got something to show you, Nick. But you know, from Atkinson to Boston, Berkeley to Manhattan to the Thelonious Monk Institute, you know, you're going through all of those things, but yet we were able to, and we've seen you on stage, and you are amazing. We've able to grab a clip. I want you to talk about how the wedding band.
What is this?
Wes, can you hit play? There we go. How the wedding band online.
Oh my God! Wow.
Really set you up for success.
Wow, I remember that. Oh my God, how did you find that?
I have connections, but you're in there.
It's amazing.
So that's you, right? And
yeah.
Was that like 20 years ago?
Yeah, that was like 2001 or something. I was just right before I moved to Los Angeles.
Thanks, Wes.
Wow, that's amazing. I wasn't expecting that.
he's blushing a little bit. So.
That's kind of shocking. I haven't seen that.
Well, while you're blushing a little bit, let's give you something to really peacock about. You're pretty good at ping pong.
Yeah, I you know, you got a lot of time between the show sometimes in the morning and the show after sound check or before sound check, especially if you're just sitting around the venue. So something we picked up over the years. I played with some of my friends, you know, in high school and stuff. And then Michael and I and some of the guys just started playing. And, you know, I'm pretty competitive. Michael's super competitive. So we got pretty good at it after a few years.
I haven't played lately 30-0 or something.
I don't know. But I had my moments, and I had my temper tantrums too.
Nice.
Oh man.
What is a frumpet?
A frumpet?
Yeah.
Is that like a part trumpet, part flugelhorn?
I don't know. You were in a video, the one that I actually figured out how to a flumpet. I'm sorry.
Flumpet. Yeah. That's the Monette. Yeah, that's like it's kind of a fusion of two different instruments, which is a flugelhorn and a trumpet. So
everybody knows that.
Okay, this is a trumpet. This is a flugelhorn. This one's more bigger. It's a little more mellow than the trumpet's a little brighter, and a flumpet is supposedly in between.
Well, while you've got that in your hand, do you want to play us something?
I don't know if it'll come out on the mic, but I could.
Yeah, do it anyway. This is live Facebook television.
We got Pat Badger from Extreme to play the ukulele.
All right, I'll try it. I'll give you a listen.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Let's see what I can
spit out of there.
Yeah.
He's got to scoot back.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It's our new penalty box theme song. Amazing. Hey, one of the questions I had written down I wanted to ask you, is that like do you have like a favorite trombone? Is that it? And does she or he have a name?
No name, but it is my favorite. I kind of experimented over the years with ones I like, and this is a Bach trombone. I'm endorsed by the company Vincent Bach. They make great brass instruments, so
that's cool.
That's what I play. Yeah.
No name though. It's not like Sally.
No, I don't have a name somehow. Yeah, Sally.
When you
Sally's fine.
when you auditioned for to be in Michael's band, did you have to audition for,
Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Tim, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh yeah, you're on the mute there.
He's muted.
Sorry about that. I don't know why. When you had to audition for to be in Michael Bublé's band, did you have to audition for David Foster directly? Was he involved in that at that point? And
he was.
How nerve-wracking was that?
You know, I really didn't know what I was walking into. I was in the Thelonious Monk Institute, and I got a call that this young singer had just put out a record and needed a band for like a showcase thing in LA. So I showed up at the studio, SAR Studios, and met Michael and David Foster. It was all really fast, so I didn't have time to be nervous. But then I realized, oh, that's David Foster. It was crazy. Yeah, it just happened really fast. So. Well, I didn't think about it much.
I mean, he knows horns. I mean, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Holy crap. You know,
all that stuff you were mentioning. You know, that's beautiful horn-driven music, which I'm glad you guys like because I do too.
How old were you when you started playing?
About 12. I played a little piano before that, but yeah, I started in band.
Most proficient at trombone?
That's my principal instrument. I double on trumpet and flugelhorn. I play a little piano.
When I was right, I know.
Flugelhorn, yes.
Who's the famous flugelhornist? Is it
Art Farmer is a famous flugelhornist.
I only know one, and that's Nick. So he's
there's a lot
on my Mount Rushmore. That's it. So.
Who's the guy who did?
Chuck Mangione. Chuck Mangione is the guy.
Yeah.
I never liked him. Overrated.
Well, he's no Nick. There's no doubt about that. Back in the '80s, in the Boston area, there was a jazz station, and I'm sure you remember it. It was 96.5. They played all GRP artists like David Sanborn, Joe Sample, all of those.
Yep.
But there was one guy, and he was a singer, and his name was Michael Franks. And Michael Franks has a unique voice, and you sound like him. I listened to one of your songs on some other time. You sing "You Must Believe in Spring." Mm-hmm. Have you always wanted to be a singer?
Yeah, I've as a horn player, you kind of try to be a singer. So it's something I've also always worked on. And on that record, I thought I'd try to do my best Chet Baker and sing a few tunes. And also just being with Michael and being in front of a great singer all those years, kind of try to pick up some things. But as a horn player, when I'm playing, especially a standard, it's pouring rain out all of a sudden. Crazy. I heard there was going to be a storm today. You try to sing like the song, the lyrics, and you try to make the melody as a singer would, as opposed to not approaching it like a horn player. Like a horn player maybe just try to be fancy and stuff, like I would when I was a kid. But playing with a great singer, you realize some of these things.
Well, you have this ongoing skit that we talked about in the pre-show. When I came to see you, Michael made you stand up, and you were the local kid that made good. And you get up and you grab the mic and you sing what? Try a Little Tenderness?
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while, but we used to do that skit. Yeah.
Right. So share with our audience how that has almost backfired on you, if you don't mind.
Well, there was a time, Michael's show has all kinds of little in between the music kind of comedy things in and out. And at one point he said to me, just go up there and make fun of me for a second. Just see what happens. Like, I can't do that. What are you talking about?
I want to keep my job, right?
I don't know what to do up there. So he just left the stage one day, and I was like, "Hi, sorry." So I made up some joke. We made a little joke thing. I made fun of him, and then he came out, and I'm like, "I can sing." He's like, "Well, I can play trombone better than you." So he would take my horn and pretend to play, and the other guy, Josh Brown, in the section would play, but the lights would be off, so nobody knew, and the audience would be like, "Oh my God, this guy's yeah." So at the end, they turn the lights on, and then he's the reveal, and then he would say, "And your very own, by the way, your very own Nick V from San Francisco, and everybody go, yeah. So we did that in every city for like 4 years. It was crazy.
So one of the exciting things about you being on, people that watch the show on a regular basis know, but you don't. But Wes is the president of the Britney Spears fan club, and when Wes found out you were going to be on, he got all giddy because you've probably played in stadiums she has played in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ever run into her? Or
no, I've never run into her actually.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, sure. She's a great performer, you know, for sure.
Wes may fire you out of here.
I don't know if I ever listened to her music, to be honest. I mean, I know of her music, and I like that song "Toxic." I remember when that came out. I listened to that.
That is a good. That's actually Wes's favorite. That's his ringtone.
Okay, good. Well, there we go.
yeah. Little known fact. Hey, deep dive here. What are you insecure about?
You know, I'm a as a musician, you're constantly analyzing yourself and listening to yourself. So naturally, you're very insecure. So I guess I'm just insecure about, did I sound good, or did I play right, or did I do a good job on the show tonight? You know, you try to not make any mistakes if you're playing a big show with Michael, or you know, that kind of a thing, or if I'm recording, you know, I'm confident in what I do, but also I don't want to sound bad, so I guess I'll be insecure about sounding bad on something.
Well, I love asking that question. It's funny with high level people and successful people, when you ask that question, their insecurity drives them to be really good. Whereas,
I'm too vain to not practice.
Yeah, I mean, your insecurity drives you versus paralyzing you.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, when the moment comes and you got to do it, you don't think that way. You don't think about that. You know, I watched The Last Dance.
Yeah,
Michael, and what was amazing was how they were talking about how Michael was able to just block everything out, and that's how he was so clutch all times. And I'm not Michael Jordan, but you know, you try to, when you're doing the thing, you don't think about any of that stuff. You just locked in on.
Yeah, but you put in the work though too to be prepared for it. I think
you got to practice. You know, the preparation.
I think a healthy bit of insecurity is a good thing.
Yeah,
keep you driven.
I think so, because you don't want to get lazy. You know.
Right.
Speaking of practice, how long did it take you before you could break a board with your foot?
Can I do that?
Well, according to Facebook, you can. I don't know.
Oh man, Facebook knows more about me than I do. I don't know, but I'd be down to try one day and see.
Well, I will after the show. I'll forward you the pictures. I believe it's on your wife's Facebook page of you kicking a board with in Taekwondo.
Oh, my daughter was taking Taekwondo, and maybe I was in the class that day. No, those break real easy. I'm very weak. Trust me, I don't want to.
Are you I know you're a Patriots fan. Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm a Boston fan. Yeah, Brewski, sure. I mean, I've followed the Patriots throughout this whole thing, and the downs when I was a kid, and then the ups, and now whatever we're getting into, hopefully ups again. Yeah, it's a whole new team. Edelman, that was sad that he retired, but
I was going to ask
a whole new team now.
Do you think he's going to end up in Tampa Bay?
Well, that's what I was thinking before he retired. I was like, he's going to go to Tampa Bay,
right?
But he's probably living with Brady now. But I mean, if he came back, that would be weird. Up, I will say. That'll be pissing me off. It's already weird that Gronk is there. It's already weird. And then I follow them on social media, and they're like celebrating, and they're on the team that they won the Super Bowl. Like,
felt weird, didn't it?
When does this ever happen? So weird.
Well, I don't think Edelman can't come back. If he say Foxborough forever, if he ends up in Tampa,
right, he can't do that.
We ought to just rip his legs off.
Yeah, because that would be not cool.
That's a PR nightmare, in my opinion. You really do. I mean, right now, you know, he'll never be the global superstar that Tom Brady is.
Yeah.
But you know, regionally.
But he's the guy. I mean, everybody loves that guy. He's the guy that, you know, the guy you want to cheer for. That wasn't supposed to be what he became. Well, Brady wasn't either, but Brady's not as likable.
Right.
Brady loved himself a little too much.
Hey, last question I have. So what's the status of getting back out on the road? Is Michael Buble got anything coming up? Do you have anything coming up? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, it's been kind of an ongoing saga. You know, things keep getting pushed back. We're supposed to go to the UK to do some outdoor concerts in July, and that just got canceled or postponed till next summer. The next thing is a US tour starting in August for about 2.5 months. That's been pushed. That was originally last February or March. That got pushed back and pushed back. So we're waiting on that. We'll see. I hope it happens, but I don't know. Right now, it's kind of up in the air. So
I know this might be a none of your business type question, but working for Michael for 20 years, and you work with other artists like Lady Antebellum and all of those other artists. Do you have to get permission from like that group that you work with as a full-time to do those kind of other gigs?
I don't have to get permission. I just kind of build my schedule around Michael's touring because that's been my main thing. So, I'll know if he's out for a year and a half, I'm going to be focusing on that. But if he's got a month off, I can put things in there or whatever. But no, I mean, I'm an independent contractor, so I just kind of, things come up. It's crazy, interesting lifestyle. You never know what's going to happen.
Right. So I've got a couple more questions. One, your wife, it looks like she is an amazing cook.
Oh, yes, she is.
She's got this, New York, I wrote it down, New York Wine and Jazz Social Club. Is that what she's involved in? As well as the New York Suburbs Vlog, which is pretty awesome. She used to do a meetup group in New York, and she would make all these kind of snacks and wine and cheese things, and I'd bring some of my friends. We'd play. It was a lot of fun. Maybe we can get back to that.
When you said we can get back to that, did you just invite Tim and Wes and I to go?
Oh man, anytime, guys.
That's what I heard.
Please come down. I'll come to you.
Don't be surprised if someday you're playing in a place in New York that we just show up. It could happen.
That would be so nice.
We've threatened to do the same for
come down for the weekend.
Oh, we'd love it. That'd be awesome.
We scream like little fangirls.
We do. Oh, I have a question. Did you ever play Sculler's Jazz Club?
Yep. Yeah, I did. I played when I was at Berkeley. I played there a bunch, and then I played there with Michael on his first tour. We played there. Kidding. Yeah, we did clubs in 2003. We did clubs, so that was the last stop on a summer tour.
I saw Bobby Caldwell there, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and but you always say so. I'm in the elevator with Bobby Caldwell, and we're going up to the next floor to get a because he's done. And I've seen both of his shows, and I'm like he said, I'm like a fan, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, how does that voice come out of that person? Doesn't even look at. But I can only imagine someone who's sitting out there listening, going, "I was at Sculler's before Michael Buble was Michael Buble."
Yeah, I bet. I mean. I had no idea it was going to grow into what it did. I thought he was a really talented, great singer, entertainer, but I just didn't know stadiums, arenas. I didn't know that. It was amazing to see it go from over the years.
Well, you've seen the world. What was your favorite place?
We did a tour of Italy early on where it was like just a bus going to the small towns and like eating at local restaurants, and that just blew me away. It was, oh God, it was so good.
The wine, the food,
the food, and just the scenery, and it was amazing. I love Australia a lot. We go there every few years. Australia is great. Europe, Canada, U.S. is. I like everywhere, but yeah, Italy, definitely. I like Europe a lot.
How is your daughter's violin lessons going?
Good. Yeah, she's been playing since she was little. She's been playing since she was about 3. She's 9 now.
Wow.
She's coming along. Yeah, still really good.
Well, definitely runs in the family for sure. Eric, you got any more?
No, questions? That was my last question. If you've got a 9-year-old, I do too, who's now taking ballet lessons, and
okay, cool,
she's gonna be a big time ballerina one day. I just know it. So
awesome.
Other than that, no, man, thank you for being on. This was cool and learned a lot. And I had said to Tim before, I'm like, if he's got that trombone, he's playing. We're gonna Tim beat me to it, so it was cool.
All right.
So
it's funny.
Go, please go ahead.
You were talking about Subway. That was my jam back in the day when I was on the road as a younger guy.
Yeah.
Everyone always made a joke. Whatever town we were in, I would find the subway.
Well, they're everywhere. They're the largest.
That's the thing, because you knew what it was going to be, whether you're in Bangkok or Boise, Idaho, or whatever. It was always the same thing, and I wouldn't get sick. You know, it's not the healthiest thing to base your life on, but when you're 26, it doesn't matter. Maybe.
Yeah, you're invincible at that age. But yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, they're the largest franchise.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they were literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's insane. And some of the major metropolitan cities, I live in Tulsa, and you can drive 2 miles and there's another one. And it's like this is a great model, but they're hurting. So you need to get
That's
back.
Crazy. Yeah, I got to get back in there.
So
yeah, it's your fault.
So I have one more request. I noticed on your wife's vlog that she has, original music, that I'm sure she doesn't have to pay for the rights for. But we have this thing we call the frozen hand, and you probably saw us when we come on. And there's a reason behind that, because when we say goodbye, it takes forever for Wes to shut the recording off. And so we've dubbed it the frozen hand. Can you play us out with a piece of original frozen hand music?
Sure.
All right.
All right. No problem.
Oh, look at Tim. Yeah, super
really
creative.
working it here.
He is. I mean, should he play this on the Fluber thing or something?
You want the flugelhorn?
Flugelhorn, because I feel like that's more appropriate at this point than
whatever you want.
Else.
I just wanted to tell the audience that this is an original. It's called A Frozen Hand by Nick. Thank you, Nick.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Oh man. We'll see y'all next week.